Everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel. So I have got some queries in my email address about how to use the Avalara and how we can keep the track of our sales and how any not only Avalara but how to use any tech software that will help us in managing our sales tax compliance, etc. So in today's video, I'm going to show you a comprehensive way of how you can use the Avalara or any other tax software which will help you to manage your sales tax effectively. Now on my screen you can see this is the Avalara here, but before I go into more details, I would like to request all of you to do subscribe my channel and hit the bell icon to stay updated with the latest sales tax information, in particular related to the US sales tax. So let's move back to the topic. So now on the screen you can see I have the Avalara open. You can see there are different options. Now before I go to the other options, like here, I just want to show you something here as well. Now on here you can see that I have the economic nexus map. Now it will tell you that where you are meeting the economic nexus. Now in our last videos we have talked about two nexus, basically the nexus. So what is mean by nexus is that nexus is a concept in which once you meet with the nexus, you will have to register yourself and you will have to collect the sales tax. Now there are two types of nexus. One is the physical nexus and the other one is the economical nexus. So physical nexus means anything, any in a particular state. If you have any particular office, a warehouse, or anything physically present, then you are meeting the physical nexus and you have to register yourself for the sales tax and you have to collect the sales tax. And economical nexus means that a nexus in which, though you are not physically located in a particular state or in a particular location, but still you are getting the economical benefits or from that state. For example, you have a sales, for example you have the employees, or you have the employees in that state, then you are gonna go to the economical nexus. Now, on the first screen, you can see that there is an economic nexus map. Now here you can see for this particular BU, for this particular client, for this particular entity, now it is saying that business is booming, you should register in Minnesota. Now here I am meeting the nexus for Minnesota. So I have to go back, or either I can register through Avalara as well, or if I'm not getting these the service of Avalara for the registering and for collecting the sales tax, so I can go myself and register myself with Minnesota. Now if I click this one, for example, if I click full map here, and then you will see there will be multiple state. For example, if I go with this stage like transaction by state, it will give me a transaction by state report, and it will give me a comprehensive report on where I have to register, where I am not meeting tax nexus, and where I'm meeting the nexus. So let's just recap it now. On the screen again you can see I have this economic nexus. Now here on this side you can see I have the switch company options. I have managing multiple entities, so I have different entities. You can see here I have different entities here. Then here, now this is where the everything will happen. So on the transactions, the first one is the home page, then we have the registrations. Now if I click on the registrations, so no, you can actually do the registrations if you want to do the registration and get the Avalara service of Avalara. The third option, if I go back to the home, so now you can just wait a second. Now here you can see the transactions. Now this is the very important step, I would say, in this particular video. Now when you are recording any transaction, whether you are using any accounting software, whether you are using any ERP, so if you wanna link that accounting software, that ERP, with this any text software, you will get all the transactions recorded here. So here if I click this one here, you will see each transaction will be loaded here. Whatever is recording in the accounting software or in the ERP, you will get these transactions here. And now here you will see, let me just show you here. So now here you can see I have the date range, I have the document status. Now there are multiple document status here. One is the void, committed, uncommitted, locked. So these are different status of the document. Then you can also search with the customer, also say search with the region. For example, I just want to see the Alaska, or if I just want to see the Florida. So you can filter it by any of the state or any of the region, and you can also do this with the country as well. But for example, currently I have the customers with the United States only, so these are all the transactions. Now for example, if I want to see any detail of any transaction, for example, I just want to go here and I want to see the detail of this transaction. So now you can see here, you can see the detail of the transaction. Now you can see this is the service, which is professional service here, and then this is the line item, and then this is the entity code, the code that we are currently using. Now here you can see, are you calculating the tax here? You will get yes. Is your customer taxable? So you'll say yes. Is the product or service taxable? So no. So now what the system is doing, in my previous videos I have mentioned you that the tax, if you wanna do the if you don't want the tax, so you will have only two reasons for not tax. The first one is the exemption. Any customer who is exempt, you are not going to collect the tax from the sales tax from that customer. Another reason would be non-taxable sales. So any customers to which you are providing those sales which are non-taxable, you are not going to collect the tax. So now here you can see, I can see that the customer is taxable, so this option is not valid here. The customer is taxable. But on the second option you can see the service, the product or service is taxable, you will see no. So now the question is that how the system is calculating this, how the system is giving me the response that this service or this particular service is not taxable or taxable. So for this, the important thing and the step which is actually integrating it is this tax code. This is the tax code, right? Now different services have different tax codes, and again, so for example, so normally I used to provide services for software as a service clients. So now in the software as a service clients, as you know, mostly the services are the maintenance, the hostings, the professional services, the license services, the license services. Now each of these services have a different tax codes, and if you are not assigning the proper tax code to the proper service, that then their system is not going to calculate the right tax for a particular state. And remember one thing, each system has a different code. For example, if you are using Avalara tax, it might have a different tax code. If you are using OneSource, it might have different. Or if you are using any other tax software, it might have a different tax code. But what remains same is the state policies. So for example, let's say if there's a state where the maintenance not taxable, it will remain same. Any of the software if you are using, whether you are using Avalara or any other software, the maintenance service is not taxable in a particular state, all the tax code, all the softwares will calculate the proper tax, provided if you give them a proper tax code. So this is a very important step. If you are thinking to integrate your ERP, your accounting software with any of the tax software, remember one thing, proper tax code is the backbone, it's the foundation. And if this is not correct, then each of these each of these services or any other services, or if any other product, even if you have different products rather than a service, will not get the right calculation. So here now you can see we have the product which is non-taxable. Then if I want to go and see the how this the tax software has calculated this, so what I'm going to do here is I will go back here and I will review this calculation, and I will see that why the system is saying it's non-taxable, what is the reason behind it, and what is the state as well. So if you can see, well, I can know the state here is Washington. You can see here the ship to and ship from, and this is also important, by the way, ship from and ship to. This is also important when you are integrating two things are very important: address and proper tax code. Now why both these are important is the proper tax code, as I already mentioned you, to generate the right taxability, and the address, because if in an address, if you have a wrong address for a particular product or for a particular customer, the system is not going to calculate the right amount of tax. Now I want to see this calculation. So now you can see here it's giving all the addresses, all the calculations. So you can see this is sales tax and no exemption is applied. The reason why the tax is not calculating, because the item is non-taxable. Now, so this is the where you will see all the transactions recorded in a ERP or in an accounting software, and if that ERP and that accounting software is linked with your Avalara or any other tax software. Now, the another option here you can see is that I have the transactions, I have the import transactions, and then I have the tax calculator as well. So for example, if I go to tax calculator and see what this option can do for us. So now you can see here, this is a little bit a calculator. So what you're going to do here, you will need to provide the address, and then you will need to write the city and the text code, and then here you can just write the description of any text code. So for example, let me just pull out this report again, and let's write another any text code here. So for example, if I just choose this one, now this is for the orange state. So let's say if I want to try this, okay, this is the professional service again. So now I use this code, and then let's say the customer code, and let's see if you want to calculate it. So now you can see here it's giving me the option of non-taxable here. Why? Because this service is not taxable in this state. The address that is here is Ohio, and you can see that I have this calculation. So what you can do here, you can, if for any particular state, if you want to see, you can just go ahead and calculate here. Now if I use any other option, now going back to this again, now here you can see I have the exemptions. Now in previous versions, what Avalara was doing is that we have another product which was called Cert Capture. Probably most of you have had this name before, Cert Capture. So this was basically a software in which we can include the exemptions certificates exemption certificates. Now what they have done is that they have merged this Avalara into Avalara. So now what you can do is you can even keep the exemption certificates here. So for example, if I go here, so now you can see here what I can do is I can add a customer, I can view the customer, I can add a certificate, and you can, this can be a database for all of your exempt customers. So you can do two things in a one. Then there is a different you can also do the campaign as well on this. For example, if you have the customers whose exam certificate is going to be expired in the next month or in the next few months, so what you can do is you can just send them a campaign and a request to provide us with your valid new exemption certificate. You can do all of this in this particular through this particular option exemptions. Now if I go back here, now this is a very important settings. So here if I go to where you report tax, this is the option where you have reported the tax, and then here what you sell and buy. So now this option is a very valid option for you guys. Let it be just open in a sec, and we can go through it. So now you can, what you can do is either you can explore all the text categories, export all the text categories. These are all the text categories you can see here. If I just select it 100, now you can see these are all the categories, and here is a particular text code. So what the point that I was mentioning earlier, a proper text code. Now you have to assign the text code according to the services that you are providing to the customer. Now what you can do is you can export this text categories, and then you can select whatever text categories or whatever services you are providing. Another thing you can do here is you can generate the textability matrix. So what is meant by textability matrix is, here I will select any text category. For example, now here you can see I am providing the maintenance or any professional service. So for example, if I choose here license, now this is my one of the services that my most of the clients are providing, so cloud services. So now here I will select the country. Now the country is, for example, United States. This again, and now here what I can do is either I can select all of this, for example all, or I can search any of the state here and I can see the taxability. So let me just select all here and then just see where are the which are the states in which the license is taxable and which are the states where the license is non-taxable. So here you can see now in Alabama the license service is exempt. In Alaska, as you know, Alaska don't have any state sales tax, so it's also exempt. Then in this state this is taxable. In Arizona it is taxable. In Arkansas it is exempt. And you can see then exempt, taxable at 1%, exempt. And you can see also that in some of these you can also see the percentage, the rate as well. So you can see now this is for the license. If you want to create another text, let's say I want to create a text calculator, a taxability matrix for any other services. So what I can do here is I will click professional service. For example, if I'm going to give professional services, in fact let me just create the maintenance one because maintenance is mostly taxable. Yes, this one. So now I will get generate taxability. Now you can see at the same time I can see two of the services. Now I can see this is for the license and this is for the maintenance. I can see here where are it is exempt, where it is taxable, where it is not taxable, and you can see this complete taxability matrix. Now you can add here whatever you like. So for example, if I wanna add more another one which is hosting, for example, if I put hosting here and I click generate taxability matrix, let's see. So you can see now this is the taxability matrix. So this is how, so this is a very useful option, Avalara, that you can use to explore your taxability. And now here you can see the other options as well, which are more of not useful, but these are few options which were very useful. So just to summarize it in a few words, so it is always important for us to get the right tax. Generating the right tax first is the generating the right tax on the amount on the invoice, and then collecting the tax. And for generating the right tax on the invoice, you need to have a proper tax code. You need to have a proper tax engine, which should be linked to your accounting software and ERP, so that the proper tax calculation can be made. So I hope this video is helpful. This video is a little bit longer, so because I think this topic needs to be explained in a well manner and a more in detail. So if you have any questions, any suggestions, any comments, do let me know in the comment box. Thank you very much.